Hey y'all, welcome to Boogie Time Speaks, thoughts, reflections, and commentary. So y'all see that title, and I just want to dive right into this because I was on, I think it was Instagram, and first of all, like I said, I'm like kind of getting back into a little social media. Um, by the way, do y'all consider YouTube social media, or do you think it's like in its own little category outside of like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever? Let me know. But anyway, I've been, getting back on Instagram because I just been cracking up at the reels and just cracking up. And I see a lot of nice recipes up there. I don't really be on TikTok too much anymore. I just been on Instagram. But anyway, getting all over the place. I was on Instagram and it was basically, I'm paraphrasing, a post that said, normalize friendships that where they send, reels to one another. If you guys don't know, reels are like, well, I think they're longer now, but like shorter videos, funny stuff. It could be anything really. Short form videos. I guess you could say that now because they're changing the rules with everything. But sending little videos to your friends, normalize that, as a way of more or less staying in touch. And I actually connected with that post because I know I do that with some of my friends and family. And I just be cracking up here, and I love to laugh and see silly stuff. My father is a very funny guy, funny man. That's I get a lot of goofiness from him. But both sides of my family, we're goofy and can be goofy. But like, I just love to laugh. Love Martin growing up. Love comedy, whatever. So I just love seeing goofy stuff. And sometimes when you don't have much to say, that laughter fills in the gaps. So that's how I look at it. And I feel like it's a way of spreading joy. Who doesn't want to laugh? We need to laugh, especially when life be life and things are just happening or whatever. It's just like it's a break away from the serious stuff, that's going on in our world, our country, etc. And just day-to-day stuff that we have to do as adults, responsible adults anyway, if you're responsible. So I'm pro sending reels and videos as a huge way of connecting. I'm not it's full transparency, not always the person like, hey, what you doing? I'm not really, I'm just being honest, y'all. This is Boogie Time Speaks. I'm not a big small talk person. I like it to have a purpose. Not saying that you can't just check in. I don't mean it to sound that way, but I just like it to have a purpose. Like, we're doing stuff, we're busy, we're living. I'm just not, small talk and just kikiing. So I like to. So for me, the reels and funny stuff like that, laugh if it brings up a memory or whatever. We just sit back and reminisce if it does that, or if it makes you think of something, whatever. But I love sending my funny stuff or any cool recipe, anything that I feel my friend or a family member will appreciate. So that's a big thing I do. And I saw other people that like to do that too. And I feel like it's so easy to lose track of time, and before you know it, time passes by and you're not really, talking with your friends as much, and it's nothing personal. You're just both living and taking care of what you got to do. And it can seem like or feel like you're going in your own bubble. Maybe sometimes you are, because it is true. I do have an episode on that sometimes friendships do drift apart. You go in different directions. That it's very possible that happens. It doesn't mean any love is lost. But there are some times where that's not the case. It's just you're busy, So I always kind of looked at it as, hey, you can check in with these things. This friend will appreciate this. This is funny. This is, you know what I mean? And we're staying in contact. And if they have something that they want to share, I'm never going to stop them from that. But this is how I communicate. Does that make sense? So in the comment sections, it was most people that share, you know, my thoughts and my views on that. But there are some people that were commenting. And I'm going to just say this beforehand, because I don't want y'all to feel like if you share these, share this belief, I'm against you. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm on team reels, whatever keeps the communication going. You know, like I said, I don't do a lot of small talk. So I'm on that side. But there were people that felt that, you know, oh, if you can only send reels or videos, stuff like that, the friendship is dead. It's over. You know, you should be able to do this, and that with your friends. What I should have did, I know I'll be winging it, but what I should have did was probably kept that post and read it verbatim, said it verbatim, but I didn't. But long story short, there were some people that were feeling like that's not a real friendship. And I am going to say this. Where do people get off telling people what's in their hearts and who they are and how they feel about a person, or how they, you know, how does that, I just, enlighten me again, you know, how do you determine what someone thinks about their friendship, or, you know, even their loved ones? Because I send videos and stuff to loved ones too. You know, I think I've expressed I'm not a big phone person. You know, unless we have something specific, you know, I'm not just talking about nonsense every day, you know. I'm not big on the phone. Most people that are close to me, family and stuff, know I don't really do phone stuff. And I think, honestly, it actually works, because most of my friends, we don't do that anyway. So it actually works. But people were upset. You know, they felt like, you know, if you know, can't call your friend and check up on them or do this, then, you know, more or less it's not a real friendship. And I'm like, well, does that work for both ways? I mean, because let's say you are the friend that sends the videos and stuff. The other friend could also check in if they want to do that, right? Shouldn't it be, you know, that goes both ways. But I will say that though people felt this, some people felt that, you know, I guess sending reels and videos was not acceptable. It did make me consider that checking in is still important. A simple, how are you doing? Like, how are you? You know, that's not small talk. That's concern. That's, you know, a good thing. You know, we should check in with one another. So I don't want to express that, oh, we can't check in with each other. And if you're real friends, you're going to get around to seeing each other or talking to each other anyway. But for the people that are like me, that, you know, enjoy some funny stuff, or anything that they feel, doesn't even have to even be funny, anything that they feel their friend will benefit from seeing, that will give them some joy and not give them any anxiety, that's just, you know, helpful to them. If you're that friend that sends videos or things you find online or whatever, let me know, because I'm definitely that friend. And or do you feel that, no, I don't send no videos, that, you know, I'm the friend that calls you, and I feel like that's the way to have a true solid friendship? Let me know how you think about that. What are your thoughts on that? I've expressed what I think about it, but like I said, that's not to say that our friendship stops at sending videos to each other. But as I said in the beginning, sometimes life be lifing, you busy, you don't really always just sit there and have that time to just be updating with every single thing. But I love you. I love you enough to hope that this video made you laugh, brought you some joy. And let's get up together when we can. And you're on my mind. That's the way I see it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. And yeah, sound off in the comments. I love to hear what you guys think. And I hope this made you think, made you engage in those comments. And like I say all the time, I enjoy seeing what you guys have to say. So let's keep it up. And until next time, peace.